Eleventh at WDHA, powered by our friends at Tito's Handmade Vodka. Raj, what do you got there? You got a Tito's? You Tito's?
Well, yeah, a little Tito's and cranberry there. Just
very nice, very nice. I am Tito'sing as well. That's what we're calling it now, Tito'sing these days.
We have a buy five.
My girls are on the job right now, so that's the reason why. Adoptions are getting done and adopters are being greeted, so they want to make sure that they've got everything going on. But I really want to thank all of you. This is our shelter roundtable. I love to do it, whether we do it in the studio at WDHA or whether we do it via Zoom for Pet Month on the Rock of New Jersey. And I've got some of my favorite people here, people that I rely on when I have questions about rescue, people that I implicitly trust to send great adopters to. And that is Tammy and Trey from Northstar Pet Rescue, and my good friend Roger Kaiser, who I've known forever from 11th Hour Rescue in Randolph. So thank you guys all for Zooming in with me today. I so appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
And it's great to see you. Well, I want to talk about, oh gosh, let's rewind a year. Things have changed so much. And I remember just as we were going into lockdown, and we probably had Facebook conversations about it, you know, we're in radio, and that's sort of a contact sport, as we like to call it, with our advertisers and with our listeners. And you guys are in rescue. I can't think of any more of a contact sport. And I think all of us were freaking out a little bit, and we figured a way to navigate our way through. And it has been, for rescue, a pretty darn good year. So I want to start with Tammy and Trey. Tell me a little bit about how things have changed for you in the last year.
Well, you know, we're foster based, and I would say before COVID, we had in New Jersey probably 20, 30 plus dogs in foster, whereas now we have maybe 2 dogs in foster because every dog that comes is getting adopted. So the adoptions are still, 1 year later, we still can't keep up with the demand of people that are looking to adopt, which is absolutely great. So the adoptions are still, and I'm sure, I know 11th Hour has the same quote problem, end of quote, you know, that everyone's looking to adopt, which is just fabulous.
Yeah, Roger, tell me what it's like at the shelter space.
So, you know, same situation a year ago, you know, it's an entirely different world. You know, we're fortunate. We actually have 2 retail locations. We have the site at the Rockaway Mall and another site at the Roxbury Mall, where it used to be you could just walk in, look at dogs or cats, and make adoptions on the spot. Well, we had to, of course, shut all that down and go to appointment only. So it's been a real spin, you know, real transition, get everything done online, set the right expectations with your adopters ahead of time. And I would like to thank all the adopters that have adopted from us, not just in the last year, but forever, because that's what it's all about for all of us in the rescue business, is getting those dogs and cats adopted, getting them that forever home. And, you know, it's a happy ending to a very rough beginning for a lot of those animals along the way. So, you know, we're doing everything by appointment. To throw some numbers out, I did a little prep work before this call. In the last 12 months, we had 2,327 adoptions.
Wow.
That's 12% higher than that same time period the year before. So although COVID has brought in, you know, a terrible situation for a lot of people and tragedy for a lot of people, like you mentioned, Terry, it hasn't been tragedy for the rescue business. We've been able to save 262 additional dogs and cats in that last 12-month period, over above and beyond what we did the year before. And, you know, again, you got to thank all the adopters out there doing what they're doing. And then the other thing that's important for us is the volunteers and staff. And I'm sure Northstar, you're in the same situation. The fosters, the volunteers, in our case, we have paid staff that take care of some of the dogs at the kennel. They've all been able to step up and really put forth a humongous effort. You know, we can't onboard a lot of new volunteers right now because of all the restrictions, right? This is a big, like you said, Terry, a hands-on kind of a situation. So you can't onboard a lot of new volunteers in this time period. So we've had to rely on our existing volunteer base, who have just been fabulous, just out of this world in getting all these adoptions done week after week. Just this weekend, we have 25 dogs that came in today, some from Texas, some from Alabama. And like you said too, Tammy, a lot of them will get adopted same day, and the rest will go into foster, and the rest of the week they'll get adopted as well. So, we're doing okay, right? We're not in terrible shape. We'd love to be more open again like we were before and be more inviting to the general public. We've had to say no to some potential adopters out of state. We're big enough that we get people from New York, from Vermont, New Hampshire, Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania. They want to come in and adopt. And we've been saying, now's not the right time to bring you in from out of state to, meet dogs and cats to adopt. That'll be relaxed as time goes by here.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll allow that more and more, but we've had to be, unfortunately, restrictive. And another thing that's been talked about during this year is, oh my goodness, people are going to adopt, and then they're just going to return the dog or cat.
I was going to ask you guys about that, because I have not seen that to be the case, that
We're
people all of a
worried
sudden
about
are going to go back to work and they don't want their animals anymore. And I mean, from what I'm seeing, people are getting that time to be able to spend, bond, figure out how to bond with. And even if it's a little tough when they go back to work, they're still not willing to give these animals up that they have bonded with, correct?
Well, going back to work is, what's going back to work really going to look like, right? So
Right.
The company I just retired from is going to do a blended approach here in the beginning. They're still going to be remote till September, and then they'll do a blended return to work. So it won't be the entire staff in all at one time. But, we have a fairly rigorous application process and review process. And I know Tammy and Trey, you do as well. So we discuss a lot of things ahead of time with a potential adopter. We always look for that good fit. We have a very liberal return policy. If it doesn't work out in the first 20 days, bring the animal back, you'll get your money back, no questions asked. But, our process of onboarding an adopter is pretty intense, and we ask a lot of questions and have some conversations. So we're usually very comfortable in the adoptions that we do, and we have some pretty good confidence that they will stick, even when whatever normal becomes moving forward. So I think we're okay.
Northstar, I mean, I'm sure that you ladies have experienced the same thing with, and I'm constantly looking at your social media pages, and it seems like that, the dogs are with you guys, and then they're out, and they're in and they're out, and they're in and they're out. And even if I check your website, most of the times the dogs sort of go from being seen on social media or having adopters that are already here just waiting for them to arrive.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. I mean, right now, it's something that we're doing differently that we didn't do before COVID is we're actually not putting all the dogs onto our website. So we're kind of entering them into our database and kind of pending them. And we're sharing them with approved applicants first, because we have so many approved applicants that just keep coming in.
Wow.
So we're able to just share them with approved applicants that we're already working with. And then if we don't find a match, then we'll put them up on the website and start promoting them more on the social media end. But we're having, fairly good time just being able to match them up right out of the gate like that. So we have a lot of people waiting.
And we have a lot of people that get frustrated because they keep missing out, because they want a dog, and they keep missing out, and they apply to all different places, and they're running into the same problem. Hey, we don't have enough dogs, or we don't have the kind of dog you're looking for. So that's why, if you look at our website, we probably have maybe 6, 7, 8 dogs on our website, but behind the scenes, we probably have like 40, 50 dogs that are pending, but we're working with people that have missed out numerous times that we know are looking. Hey, I'm looking for a small dog. I'm looking for a Pyrenees. I'm looking for a Shepherd. And so we keep them in mind. And when we just pulled this dog, maybe you're interested in this dog. And then, so that has definitely changed the way we've worked with things in terms of like applicants and dogs coming. And if we do add a dog to the website that's highly adoptable, it's literally 24 hours, and then we take the dog off because we got so many applications in 24 hours.
Isn't that awesome? You know what?
Yeah.
Since I have the two of you on too, you have a couple of tell me like pick 2 of your longer term residents that for some reason are just not getting adopted, and tell us about them, and let's give them a little bit of FaceTime here.
Yeah, definitely. We have Marico, who is, I mean, if you look at her, she's absolutely gorgeous. She's a husky baby shepherd mix, probably around 45 pounds. She's deaf, but I think what is really freaking people out and why they're not adopting her is that she does have separation anxiety. So she has to go to a home with another dog. She's good with cats. She's good
Oh,
with
that's
kids.
great. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
she's got all these great qualities.
Just
but
somebody who's home. Yeah, somebody
someone
who's
that's
home.
home. She can't be crated because she hurts herself in a crate. We
Aw.
haven't tried like a gorilla crate, like an industrial size crate type thing. But you know, the people that have her now that are fostering her, they make it work, and they have been leaving her little bits at a time to get her used to it. She's in a multi-dog household with 3 other dogs, and like I said, cats. So the big deterrent with her is the separation anxiety. And then the next one, I mean, we do have a few, but the next one would be Buckshot.
Oh, yes.
Oh, he's so
Buckshot.
cute. He's the little black dog, right?
Little
He's
black Chihuahua.
adorable.
Yeah, he had surgery on his esophagus where they had to put some kind of like they put stents in there to help him breathe. And so that has helped him. He's, you know, doing great. But one of the things with Mr. Buckshot is that he doesn't like his head touched. So you can't get a leash on and off of him, and you can't get a collar or a harness on and off of him. So he really needs to go to a home with a fenced-in yard.
Yeah, if you have big farmland, nice big farmland for Buckshot.
I mean, he's great with big dogs, small dogs.
He's
like,
cute.
He is really, you know,
Very
he's got
cute.
a little bit of a tood. So he, you know, he just doesn't like his neck touched. Don't touch my neck.
He needs
Don't
an
touch my
adult
Yeah.
home with a fence. That's all he's looking for.
Yeah.
That's not a lot to ask for,
that's
you
it.
know?
Not a lot to ask for at all. So I want to talk to you guys too about, okay, now that things are changing and opening up, talk to me about events. You guys were always, you know, big on doing events and being at events. So Roger, we'll start with you. You guys are going to start doing some 11th hour events again, correct?
Yeah, you know, we're ramping up. The last year has been really tough because, you know, we all have an adoption fee, but that adoption fee does not cover the entire cost of our operation. So we rely on a lot of these fundraising events to help beef up the coffers, if you will, and donations. Donations have been great. So we really had to rely on donations this past year to fill in that gap for those missing fundraising events. But starting actually this coming Saturday at the Rockaway Mall, we're having a special kitten event. It's called Sip and See. We're gonna show people how to make special cat-themed mocktails, you know, non-alcoholic drinks. And we're gonna have a bunch of cats and kittens there available for adoption as well. So that's an on-site actual event. We just finished a virtual silent auction, which was very successful. That was virtual. So our first physical event is going to be this Saturday, but we're also going to do our traditional ice cream social like we have done in years past. We'll do that at Horseshoe Lake in August. We're firming up the date in the next few days. And our big Puptoberfest is back on the schedule too for Horseshoe Lake, beginning of October. We're looking at October 2nd, not locked in at the moment, but as you know, as soon as it is, get on our website, you know, ehrdogs.org. Stay close. We'll announce everything. And our social media, like us on Facebook. If you haven't found us on Facebook, like us on Facebook. We're very active in social media, just like Northstar. And, you know, it's a good way to stay close to what we're up to.
Yay. Yay. And Puptoberfest. Yay. We're looking forward to that. I want to talk a little bit about social media because I think, Trey, you are a master at doing that for Northstar. And you're really the lady, you know, I've heard that you're the lady who really sets those wheels in motion, you know, with the photos and the videos and all of the different things that you do with the dogs on social media. So you guys are foster based, very different than 11th hour where, you know, they have shelter spaces. You guys are in this fabulous little Northstar space now, which is so adorable and cute. You guys are in Boonton, correct?
Yeah.
At the Boonton location. And that's where people would traditionally come to do like a pick up their dog meet and greet kind of thing. But talk to me about social media and how you always manage. I think it's very important for people to see the happy tales. You know, it's so sad when we see dogs that are in desperate need of a home and they look like they're in desperate need of a home. And then some people say, oh, I can't look, I can't go to the shelter because it's going to make me too sad. And we always want to try to get people away from that thought because I don't think it helps the dogs. While these stories sometimes need to be told, to see the happy stories is just as important. And I think, Trey, you're really good at showing how animals fit so well with the families that adopt them. So tell me how you got interested in being sort of the manager of the social media for Northstar. And it can be as simple as nobody else wanted to do it, but you've really become great at it. And so tell me a little bit about taking on that task.
It kind of just landed on me like accidentally.
Yeah.
But you know, I've known Tammy and Jeff a long time too, and I've worked with them before we started Northstar, and I kind of had the feeling of what they wanted too, as far as the social media and what kind of spin on the stories, like knowing like the backstories and everything. It kind of gave me an easier avenue in there to share it with everybody else. I mean, being 100% foster based and 100% volunteer, really, you know, the happy endings is what fuels all of us to keep going. And just like with the social media, even though your followers may not be fosters and volunteers, they could be people that are constantly following you every day. So for them to see a dog, you know, from the beginning to the end, and then a year later when you post it, I mean, I posted Carla the other day.
Yeah.
I was freaking out when I saw her.
So
I
many
met her at
people,
Dodge.
people I don't even know were commenting on it because they remember when she was at all the adoption events.
I
and we posted her
know.
up for adoption.
She was perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect dog.
Yeah.
And there were so many comments on Instagram on that. People like, oh my gosh, it's Carla. And it made everybody so happy, you know? So, and those are people that are going to come back to you with a donation or support or send somebody your way as far as adopters and fosters. So it's always good, I think, to keep everybody the full picture. We try to be kind of transparent. I mean, we also tell sad stories, but the sad stories do have that happy ending. So, which keeps everybody, you know, involved and everybody feeling like they're a part of what's happening, because really they are, because we can't do any of this without our supporters and our followers. You know, as Roger said, the adoption fees don't cover the cost to save these dogs. So we're really relying on the public to support.
Well, that was the plus.
There
were pluses and minuses of 2020/2021. The pluses were people learned how incredible it was to add a furry family member. And so many people said, if I'm going to do this, I'd much rather adopt an animal. So that was such a huge plus. But when people talk about, oh yeah, you know, I talked to somebody the other day, I'm going to start my own rescue. And I'm thinking, you have no idea what you're talking about. Because the fees for everything, for treating the dogs and getting the dogs and taking care of the dogs, are so incredibly high. They're not necessarily, people must think, I think, that animal rescue gets like free veterinary care. And that is the farthest thing from the truth that you could ever imagine.
Can I jump in on that?
Roger.
I want to jump in on that one topic because, you know, we deal with a lot of dogs. So our numbers are kind of interesting to follow some of our numbers. I just did a little analysis for our last fiscal year and what we spend on medications, microchips, and vetting, which also does include spay and neutering, because we're bringing in thousands of dogs. They all have cats. They all need spay and neuter. So if you take our total cost for medications and our total cost for veterinary services, you take that big number, divided by how many adoptions we do, the end result is we spend about $150 per animal to vet them and give them medication and spay and neuter them. Now, we have many dogs and cats that need minimal care. Maybe they need a rabies shot. Maybe they just need a checkup. So it's really low end. And then we all have those dogs and cats that need that $5,000 special surgery, you know, that really blows the budget every time those come up. But it's about $150 just for medications and vetting per adoption. So, you know, you want to complain about that adoption fee, but there's a cost to get the animal here to New Jersey if it's a dog. Our cats are mostly local, but the vetting costs, medication costs are there. We have some payroll for the dogs that are taken care of at the kennel, the people who scoop the poop and feed the dogs and care for them.
Absolutely, because you need employees to do this. That's what people sometimes don't understand. Everything can't just be volunteer, because especially when you're running an actual shelter space, it has to be somebody's job to some degree, because when things are just volunteer, there are times that you can't get to your job or do your job because you're doing your other job. So I don't think people realize what goes into it. And I wanted to bring that up, and I wanted to make sure that I brought that up. And I just remembered to bring that up because I think everybody thinks that you guys are, you know, helping out and doing such great work. So everything that you need must be given to you for free. And that's also where the events come in and fundraising things that you guys do. You ladies do some awesome fundraising events with making great different swag and shirts and different ways to fundraise, and this year has been a difficult year for fundraising. So great year for adoption, not so great year for fundraising for our animal shelters.
Yeah, we definitely took a hit, and I'm sure 11th Hour did too with this year with fundraising. But we also we did more adoptions, and we took on the same amount of medical issue dogs. So our costs increased. And like Roger was saying, we figured out that it costs us about $600 to like fully vet just a healthy dog, between transport, spay and neuter, shots, everything. And our adoption fee is $395. So we lose money on every dog that we adopt out. And then if we adopt out a senior is $200. So we're not making any money on adoption. So we really, really, really need the fundraising and donations. And this past year, we really, between not doing events and also just not feeling comfortable asking people for money during such a difficult time.
Yes.
No, it definitely was. It definitely was a challenge. But luckily, we do have just such a lot of followers and a lot of generous people, and so we were able to make it work.
Our Super 50/50 also kicked tail last year.
Oh, yeah. yes.
If it wasn't for that,
I loved when we teamed up. And we teamed up and did some stuff. And I can't wait to get back to doing events with you guys, because I feel like people at events are so generous. Mm-hmm. When we're on site and they see the dogs and they see how important, giving you guys $5 or $10 or $3 or, I remember we were at an event with Northstar, and we were trying to get to our goal, and we were like $100 away, and there was like a woman down front, like, I'll give the last 100 just to get us to the goal of the day. And, people are so incredibly, incredibly generous in giving and just donating for the animals. It's very inspiring to see. I will, you guys know to call me, because I will always donate my time to help get the message out for anything that you guys are doing when we get back to doing events. So please do not hesitate to reach out to me and let me know what's coming up and how I can be of service to you. Me, my big mouth and a microphone, whatever I can do.
Well, as Trey was saying about the 50/50, we are kicking off the 50/50 early this year. So we're actually starting next week. So last year the winner got $26,000. We got $26,000. So this year we're looking to
trying to beat that every year. So
that really is our big fundraiser for the year, and not that sustains us for the year, but that is definitely, and that's all Trey. That's a big fundraiser for us. So yeah,
it's a good one because it has really no expenses, So
yeah, and it's easy. It's easy for people to get involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
And cash is always a motivator.
Yeah, totally.
Always a motivator. So let me ask you guys, if people are thinking of adopting, what questions should they ask themselves before bringing in a new family member? You've had a lot of first-time adopters this past year. I have neighbors here that have never had dogs. I have one neighbor, and she adopted one, and then they went back like 3 months later and got 2 more. And I'm like, you have 3 dogs now? And she's like, well, we felt bad for the one we didn't take, and he was still at the shelter. I think they got their 3 from St. Hubert's. And then the kids wanted a 3rd, and it was like, wow, so, you've got people getting multiple dogs, because they've been home more and spending more time with their animals. So what should people ask themselves before taking on adopting an animal? And I'll start with you, ladies from Northstar.
Gotcha. Well, really, they should really think about the amount of time they're going to be able to spend with the dog. There is time you got to put into it. So if you're somebody that's out of the house, 20 hours a day, maybe it's not the right time. If you're somebody that will have the time to really dedicate to letting the dog settle in, training, then go for it. And you have to realize too that any dog you do adopt, it's going to take some time. It's not like an instant, oh, you're trained, you're ready to go, my schedule. You're going to have to take some time and really put the time in. And when you put the time in, it's so worth it. I mean, it comes back to tenfold.
And I also have to chime in. I think, I know it's hard for people because a lot of people have in their head what they want.
Yeah.
And I think if you're more open in terms of, I'm not saying going from a Chihuahua to a Great Pyrenees, but if you're open to like, okay, I want a dog under 20 pounds, maybe be open to a Chihuahua, maybe be open to a Terrier. Some people hear Chihuahua, oh my God, they're barkers, they're this, they're that. Mm-hmm. Or, we are here to help you find a match. We're not going to send Buckshot home with a family with kids, we're here to assist you. So if you're open to a different breed and not necessarily, this is what I want, this is what I have to have, I think that really helps out as well, too.
And don't you think it's about making a connection? I'll have listeners reach out to me and say, hi, I'm looking for a dog. I want X, Y, and Z. Can you help me? And I always say, I can't really, because you have to feel the dog. I can tell you, I'll give them all our shelter partners, and I'll say, these are our shelter partners. If you haven't liked them on social media, please do, because they're very active on their social pages. And let them know who we work with and who I think is a great group and can help them find a great animal. But I don't necessarily think I can be like, yes, I have a 9-pound Shih Tzu, doesn't shed, ready to move in, totally housebroken, let's go. I think people have to realize that you've got to bond with that animal as well. And sometimes you look at one animal, but you bond with another animal. It turns out very, very, very different. When I got Rosie, she's sleeping here, but it was the last thing on my mind was getting a second dog. I wasn't thinking of it. I was delivering wee-wee pads and food to the dental animal shelter, and I saw her little face, and she was a scrapper, and she was beating up the other puppies. And I thought to myself, I couldn't stop thinking about her, and then I brought her home and she was beating up my dog, but there was just something about her that I connected with. And I still can't tell you why that is. And she's, Rosie girl, you want to come in? She's like, she's drinking or something. I don't know what she's doing over there. So you just never know. And you're right. When you think that this is exactly what I want, I have to have a French bulldog and it has to be a light color and female only. And sometimes you've got to sort of expand your mind a little bit beyond that. Roger, give us your take on it.
Yeah, certainly. In my favorite story, just along those same lines, at an event, a couple comes up to me and it says, they're looking for a German Shepherd. They only want a German Shepherd. They've had German Shepherds all their lives. The only thing they want is a German Shepherd. At the end of the day, they go home with a beagle, and they're really, really happy that they got a beagle. So yes, that open mind is important. I think it's, are you ready to adopt? Whether it's a dog or a cat, and whether it's one dog, one cat, 2 dogs, 2 cats, what are you ready? Are you really ready? Because it's work. Sometimes bringing a puppy into the house is like having another kid. Are you ready to wake up during the night to let the dog out? Are you ready to be prepared for when he chews up that favorite antique rug of yours that came over on the Mayflower or whatever? So, are you really ready? And then have you thought about, well, you're going to need food, you're going to need supplies like bowls and brushes, and there's going to be some vetting involved. Do you have a vet lined up already? Do you know who you might want to use? Have you heard recommendations from friends? But, are you okay with a dog who might run into your room and pee on the floor, the first thing he does when he comes home? Are you ready for that? And if you're not ready or tolerant, then now's not the right time. And, I know you guys talked about the transition period. I've had enough fosters come and go and seen enough dogs over the years. There's that transition period. And for some dogs, it could be 3 hours, and some 3 weeks or 3 months. We have a dog that we ended up adopting who's got, a weird backstory. And she's still not quite 100% comfortable in every environment. Car rides terrify her, and that's just her, PTSD from before. But you got to be ready to accept those differences. And I've seen people who, they had a dog growing up and they expect the next dog to be just like the dog they had.
Yeah,
and
we always think that. Yep.
It just doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work
okay.
like that.
It's all different. Every dog is different. Every cat is different. It's great. So just, are you really mentally ready to take on the challenges, and have you lined up all the needs and supplies, and, are you really ready to go?
So if people want to get involved with adoptions and they want to fill out an application and they want to see the animals that you guys have that are looking for forever homes, I'm going to start with Northstar. What is the best way to reach out to the fine folks at Northstar Pet Rescue?
We'll go on our website at www.northstarpets.org, fill out an application. We do get back to everyone, but keep in mind that we are volunteers, so it might take us a couple of days to either respond to the application, to acknowledge that we received it, and it will take us a couple of days to process it. And don't be discouraged if the dog that you have applied for is adopted. We will find you a dog. If you are patient, we will find you a dog. Don't expect that you're going to get your dog within a week or 2 weeks. It might take you a month, but if you are patient, we will find you a good fit. So that's how you could, adopt a dog from us. And we're by appointment only. All of our dogs are in foster, so we don't have a facility that you can come see the dogs. We don't know when we're going to be doing events again, to be honest with you. Right now, we don't have enough dogs in foster to do events. Yeah. So we probably would start doing events if we could, but we really don't even have dogs to bring.
Not a bad problem to have. Yeah. Not a bad problem to have at all. Roger, yeah. How can people reach out to 11th Hour Rescue?
All right, same as Northstar, our website's the place to start, www.ehrdogs.org. There's a spot for dog applications and a separate spot for cat applications. All the animals are listed. We're very good, just like Northstar, of taking an animal off the website if they're adopted. We'll also take a dog or cat off the website if they have a lot of adoptions, a lot of applications lined up for them. So we'll take them off the website and deal with the applicants off screen. So we have the application process. You'll get an email to say we've received your application. You'll get a second one once you have been approved or denied, because it could go either way. And I got to tell you this, everybody, if you're signed up for any rescue and you've done something online and you're expecting an email, check your spam folder. A lot of times, email might end up in the spam folder, and the potential applicant is saying, hey, I never heard back from you. Well, now we can check our records. We sent you the email, and if they go in their spam folder, lo and behold, it was sitting in there. So that's one part of it as well. And then patience, like Tammy said, it doesn't always happen instantly. We are volunteers. The applications take time to process. They're not instantly done. It takes a couple maze. Be patient. If you want to follow up, shoot us an email to the main email, which is main office at ehrdogs.org, main office at ehrdogs.org. So you can always say, hey, I submitted an application 3 days ago. I haven't heard anything. It's okay to follow up. We take those emails, parse them out to the people that have the applications assigned to them, and they'll respond directly back to you as well. So patience is a big part of that process.
Excellent. Some good information here, my friends. I so appreciate you guys hanging out and giving us information and updating us on 2020 versus 2021 midway through.
Yes,
we have made the year miraculously, thank goodness. And I can't wait to see everybody's faces again. I may be looking for a furry friend for Rosie. Again, I'm very patient. It is going to take just the right fit. I need someone non-bossy because she's very bossy.
Yeah.
And someone small.
Just like Mama, right?
She's exactly like me. Exactly. We are the same big mouth and big attitude and little bodies. So, so my eyes and ears are looking, and I thank you guys so much. There's always so much good information for people, and everybody always enjoys when I speak to you, and everybody goes, wow, I didn't realize this, or I didn't realize that. So I so appreciate your time. I don't know how we would do Pet Month without all of you. And please send me your adoptables if you have any dogs that you're having a tougher time with. Maybe we should start featuring Buckshot on the Pet Month page also.
Yeah, definitely.
Big backyard, nice fenced-in area, no hickeys on the neck for this dog, and we're all good.
Small and large dogs. He lives with a huge Greater Swiss Mountain Dog that's like 200 pounds.
I love it.
And then he lives with like a little Chihuahua and everything in between. So
and he's awfully cute.
Yeah,
he is really cute.
Terrie, I know you like to kiss all that you meet. This is one you're not going to kiss.
Yeah, no
I will not be
kissing,
kissing
Buckshot.
Buckshot. I don't know if you like it. He can
No.
he can do a lip shot for me if he wants, or kiss me on my neck, but I won't go for his. I won't go for his. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
No worries, Terry. Thank you. Thanks to WDHA as well. You guys are awesome.
Bye, Roger.
Bye, guys. Good seeing you guys.